So today, guys, we're going to be talking about offers, the importance of reading over an offer before you sign it, and different items within the offer to look for. And so we're going to get right into it with Roxanne this morning.
Thanks, Matt. This is really an exciting time for people. There's a lot of times where people are, looking at multiple houses. They found the one they want. They may or may not be in a competitive situation.
Yeah.
And so they're so quick to write down the offer and work on with their realtor that sometimes they forget to look at the different parts of the offer that in the end can't be changed.
Exactly.
An offer is legally binding when
Yep.
somebody signs it,
Oh,
and it can be the document that they use to close on the house, not necessarily to go to a purchase and sale agreement. So it's really important that the key terms of the transaction are in the offer.
Yeah.
And when a buyer gives the offer to the seller through their agent, really what that is it's an offer.
Yeah.
And that offer can be accepted, rejected, or counteroffered. So it's important to kind of work through that process and know that if there is a counteroffer, what's getting changed from the original document. Could be price, it could be term.
Yep.
When there is a date or a time in the offer, it's important to know what those dates and times are because there's a few little words in a contract that say time is of the essence.
Yes.
Which means that it's binding and it's contractual, and if you miss that date or time, it could be technically a breach of contract.
Yes.
So, for buyers, they want to make sure that, if they're closing on October 29th, that that's not the day they're on vacation.
Yeah.
Or the day they're due to have the baby.
Yeah.
Which can happen.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that for that, it's relevant. It's not necessarily a Sunday. It's not a big work day. I like to not see closings on a Friday because it doesn't leave any room, especially when we're coming into like a winter season.
Yeah.
If there's a snowstorm, it doesn't leave us that extra time that we might need.
Yep.
So make sure that you're coordinating your dates and times with your agent and that they're clear and that they work within your calendar.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the offer will contain some important things like how much you're going to pay.
Yeah.
One of those components of the payment section also talks about your deposit. So at this point, they may have already given a deposit for $500 or $1,000.
Yeah.
When they sign their purchase and sale agreement, they're going to need up to 5% of the purchase price typically. And so make sure that money's available.
Yeah.
If it's in your 401k and you need to draw it out, make sure that you've planned for that accordingly because this all happens in a pretty quick timeline.
Yeah, definitely.
In the other thing about contracts is that, or an offer, is that there are contingencies. So there's a few important contingencies most offers have. One is that the buyer has the ability to inspect the property.
Yep.
And so that happens within about 10 days.
Yeah.
And I always recommend that people do inspections unless they're a licensed contractor themselves.
Yeah, I would agree.
To prevent the unknown. The second most important contingency for most people is a mortgage inspection contingency.
Yeah.
And that says basically that I will buy this house so long as I am approved by the lender and they lend me the money to buy the house.
Yes.
And there's a date in there that's called a mortgage commitment date, and that's an important date for people to put on their calendars in the future during the transaction with their loan officer, their realtor, and their attorney. And those contingencies basically are, I like to refer to them as the get out of jail free cards. Yeah. Right? So those things that can happen in a transaction that would prevent a buyer from going forward, but still allow them to get that deposit back. Yeah. 5% on $300,000 is $15,000. It's
a lot of money.
It's a lot of money to lose in the event that something can't go forward for some unplanned reason. So contingencies are important. You may have things like appraisal contingencies that the property has to appraise at or above the purchase price. Yeah. It happens in different types of the market.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's a closing cost credit. So make sure that you're working with your realtor to understand what your contingencies are. And lastly, what are the items that are going to be included in the sale?
Yeah, and I think this is a big item.
Yeah. At the beginning, it always will say, I'm going to buy this house. It's at a certain address. And then it says, and other stuff, right? So what's that other stuff going to be? A lot of times we find that people will put in all appliances. Yeah. All appliances to you and all appliances to me might mean
completely different.
Totally different things. Yeah. So if you want that washer and dryer and you're not sure if it's considered an appliance, make sure it's in there. Yes. If you want the tools in the shed or the snow blower, make sure it's in there. If it's something that you would like to have but you would not go forward with the deal, then it's okay for that to be left out.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that especially when it's your first home, you're super excited about the whole transaction. And, working with your realtor and putting all the items in it that you want to have in it is really important. And you want to make sure that you read the document over thoroughly. You ask as many questions as you have because once you sign it, like you said, it is a binding document. and you want to make sure that everything that you want is in there. So I think it's a super important topic to touch on. So I thank Roxanne for having us here today, and that if you guys have any questions about offers, feel free to leave us a comment below, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.